What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. Give you a quick overview of some of the data points, what shorts did, and what options is really signaling. Before we get into any of that, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. SoFi went up 3.62%. Pretty phenomenal day for SoFi, as well as just generally the fintech sector. But $16.68 the high, $15.88 the low. So it was able to get above some key resistance levels. So I'll go over the technicals in a minute, but 36.7 million shares being traded, 47.3 is the average. So a little bit low for the volume, but then again, I think that's anticipated for this whole week. These are some of the transactions that did occur on the secondary market above $100,000. So you are still seeing a good amount of buying. So some buying first thing, but aside from that, it was more so algorithmic trading that kind of was majority of the volume today. No official news associated to SoFi, no SEC filings, no data points coming out pretty much this whole week. So it is more of a technical driven week. And in SoFi's case, that's fairly good. But you also did have shorts increase today, 499,000 shares. 13.06% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 138.97 million shares overall are being shorted. But cost to borrow average is 0.06. That hasn't been that low in a while. So that does mean that it's not just one, but there is multiple different brokers kind of lowering their cost to borrow. So we already do know there is a handful of brokers trying to incentivize buying by paying people to short SoFi. So the cost to borrow minimum right now is negative. So we'll kind of wait and see what does happen. A lot of analysts are somewhat hesitant about just where the broader market is at, not even counting SoFi. So I think in general, you might have more of a psychological pullback, not really justified because as I've stated in the past, you have a lot of data points that are coming out. Very phenomenal, showing that the economy is relatively strong. So we'll just have to, I guess, wait and see. There was a new update to the short interest. So 2 times per month, that's when the NASDAQ does disclose the new true amount of shares being shorted. So on December the 24th, you had them disclose the new report as of December the 13th. So it's always delayed, but as of December the 13th, 12.74% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 135.76 million shares. Still a decrease from the last report. So then what Ortex and a lot of other programs do is they take this information as of December the 30th, plug in what they feel has occurred since then, and this is how you get that new 13.06% interest or short interest number. So let me know your thoughts on that. But looking at the options, so 21 million in calls, 4.54 million in puts. 49% of all the options being done today were optimistic in nature. So like I've stated in the past, I do cover quite a few different stocks and different sectors. Majority of the stocks in general were bearish today. Based on the options. Like I said, a lot of analysts are kind of anticipating some pullback, but with SoFi was among one of the only stocks I kind of cover, the fact that it was green as sentiment wise. So again, that's kind of a good thing in my opinion. So more upside is anticipated, and based on the call options that were purchased today, you still do see a consensus for it to be above roughly around $17 this week, and then roughly around $17.50 to $18 next week. Bears, though, are anticipating for it to be sub $15 next week, so more of a pullback, anticipated pullback. And with tomorrow being Friday, just take note of this. So 16,000 in open interest at that $16 strike price, 18,000 at that $16.50, and then 20,000 at that $17. So you might see shorts relatively active tomorrow to try to suppress it below that $16.50 or possibly $17, depending on what does happen. So again, just kind of take note of that. Right now with it at $16.60, it is trading between this R1 and the pivot. So 16.71 is going to be the next strong target / resistance, kind of bounced off that general area. So very important for it to really close above that tomorrow. And then you have 15.71 being the next strong support. So I don't see that being touched. And even if there is a pullback tomorrow, I don't see it touching this pivot point. So I think just generally SoFi and a small other handful of stocks do truly want to kind of move higher. So let me know your viewpoint. And then aside from that, 1732 and then 1832 is going to be the following resistance points for SoFi. But on the actual chart, as I've stated in the past, not really much negatives to bring up. It is above the ALMA, above all the key pivotal moving averages. Stochastic RSI does show that it is still relatively oversold. So again, that could really stand to benefit it going forward into the next several trading days. No new analyst ratings. So last two have been relatively bearish of sorts. So you had a $13 sell by Morgan Stanley and then a $12 sell by Bank of America. So hopefully we get a new bullish one coming in, but yeah, it's right now it's just a kind of a waiting game. We're just waiting for inflation data, which is going to be coming out, I believe, second week of January, and plus just companies unveiling their earnings. We'll just have to kind of wait and see. Most likely tomorrow, as well as Monday and Tuesday, you'll see a little bit higher volume as institutions do rebalance their portfolios at the end of Q4. So again, just kind of stay tuned for that. I don't anticipate any crazy negative pullbacks or anything, but if anything, you might just have a increase in volume and possibly more so link it to the technicals. So you might see a little bit of a additional push higher, but no new estimates coming from analysts. So I've been kind of monitoring that for Q4 earnings. So still the same kind of status quo. So no changes for that. And then for revenue, same thing. So it did go down slightly. So 669.58 million to now 669.12. So very minor. So an analyst did adjust that, but nothing really crazy to write home about. So yeah, honestly, this is somewhat of a boring week. Take that with a grain of salt, of course, and probably now that I say it out loud, tomorrow is going to be a crazy day, either opposite polar spectrum, either a massive sell-off or a pull higher. But yeah, I think a lot of people were just anticipating a quiet week for this week, so we'll just have to wait and see. So do you think that SoFi is going to close above, for instance, that 1650 or even 17 for tomorrow, or do you think we're going to see some signs of manipulation coming from shorts as they try to kind of push it below those key strike levels, as what we saw back in like when it was like $7-8, that kind of range? Or do you think, what's your thoughts? And what have you been doing? Have you been buying? Have you been selling? Have you been doing any options? I myself, as I shared with you, I did sell 1550 puts just in case it does pull back. So another week that they do expire, so I get some free money. Free is always good, free premiums. So take advantage of options and all the other fun jazz. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon where I give buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. SoundHound just hit my new target as well. So I've been kind of saying that this is a buying opportunity since it was around $5. Now it is at $24.23. And so yeah, pop over there. There's a lot of other good buying opportunities that I've been signaling. So buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Link in the description below and also the comments with all that. Appreciate all of you watching.